Pokemon Legends EA gets a brand new pre-order exclusive bundle, but not for you. UK exclusive.
Yes, but are you going to get the digital or the physical version?
Who knows? Hello everyone and welcome to Across the Podcast. My name is Aiden.
I'm Stan.
Let's get into the news. So Pokemon Legends ZA, or ZAR, whatever you want to call it, gets a new pre-order exclusive bundle in the UK. However, if you go on Nintendo UK and you scroll down, there are, let me quickly count, 3, 6, 9, 12 different listings. And none of them are particularly descriptive as to what you're actually going to get. The best I can find is that there are 2 bundles that seem to get you all of the figurines, at least. Doesn't give you any of the trainer bundle stuff. If you want everything, you're gonna have to buy the game like 3 times. But if you're just wanting the trainer bundle with the actual figurines that most people want, there are at least 2 versions that seem to give you the Switch 2 edition. There is the Evolution Bundle, and there is the Evolution Bundle with upgrade pack.
That's I don't get, because you've got the figurine set that comes with pins. You've got a figurine set that comes with more figurines. You've got it maybe comes with the game that's physical. Maybe it comes with the digital one. You don't know. There's a description telling you like what the pins are made out of, what the figurines are made out of. There's no description about what the game is made out of, which if it was digital, I could see them getting away with that. But if it's physical, I need to know, what am I putting in my mouth? Because that's where
Very
it's
good
going.
question. There seems to be a different version to get the Switch 1 edition than there is the Switch 2 edition. But if you get the Switch 2 edition with the upgrade pack, I think it's digital. It says digital, and the other one doesn't say digital, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not.
Yeah, I also don't understand. You could buy the package, you can get the Switch 1 game, and then the upgrade separately. Why? Why would you?
Or you can scroll down and get the umbrella. We all have things.
No, that's true. There's something for everyone. There's something that's gonna make everyone mad as well. So that's Pokemon being Pokemon. If we're being honest, they're gonna make a lot of people happy, a lot of people mad. They're gonna take your money all the same.
That they will. That they definitely will. Because the one with the umbrella, everyone dying to get that, is an extra £6 than the one
That's heavy.
with the figures.
It's a heavy umbrella, man.
You don't get any figures. You get an umbrella, a hat, and a mug. The hat doesn't even look that good. It looks like the default one from Pokemon Go. Before you even buy the Poke Coins, this is the basic.
That's not. It's very confusing. I've seen a lot of pre-orders for a lot of games online. I don't think I've ever seen one this confusing. Now, then again, in my defense, I'm usually ordering from American sites.
That's fair.
And I can't find that. So
this is Nintendo UK.
Yeah.
So far, it may come to America when they open pre-orders. It may not.
I hope. Well,
we'll see.
If they do it, I hope it at least makes sense. Like, I hope I'm able to tell what it is that I'm going to buy, because one, I want the physical game. If I'm going to buy this is how I am with anything. If I'm going to buy anything brand new when it releases, I want the physical version. Now, if I'm going to buy it later on or whatever because it's on an eShop sale or anything like that, I'll do that. I'm fine with that. That's cool. But if it's a new game that I'm going to own, I'm going to be the first person to own it when it comes out. I want it physical. It's that simple. And then buying a used game is really cheap most of the time. I don't know how that's going to go here in the future with the way we're going with games, but as of right now, it's a pretty good thing. So.
No mention of a steelbook. I don't think there is one.
Well, so I know you guys got You guys got steel books of like Legends Arceus or Arceus, however you want to say it. It doesn't matter.
I think so, yeah.
He's not a real Pokemon, okay? He's a Pokemon god or whatever, deity. Anyways, um, you got a steelbook version of that. You got like a steelbook version of a Sword and Shield because we know a buddy of ours that has it because I've seen the pictures of it and they look really cool. I've never seen them over here, so you guys it'll probably just come with it. You don't know; it could be in there. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a steelbook. Maybe you'll get a steal. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you get stolen
I
from.
wonder what the first Switch 2 Steelbook will be, because I don't think there is one yet.
I don't know. I would have liked to. I'd like to see a. This is going to be a good transition here. I'd like to see a DK steelbook. I think that would look great. Put some shiny bananas on there.
That would be pretty cool.
But I feel like that would have been
But yes.
mentioned at the DK Direct.
It probably would have done.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, we got a lot of information in said DK Direct.
We did. I'm very excited. I want to buy this game now. I was on the fence
cool.
before. It was a new DK game. I was like, okay, I might pick this up. It might be a fun time. Or I'll just watch a guy I know that dresses up as a monkey on Mondays and plays video games. I was just probably gonna go that route. But looking at the gameplay and how everything looks, this looks amazing, and I'm excited to get. And I hope they do a steelbook version of it because I would buy a steelbook version. I'll give me a banana with a game in it, and I'll buy that. Like, just give me something different. I do want the amiibo because they released the amiibo, and it looks really nice. So I am excited that they're actually. One thing. How is this not an $80 game? How is Mario Kart World an $80 game? Which I've got some thoughts on that because I've lived with it for 2 weeks now. They're not all great, but this is an $80 game. This makes sense to be an $80 game. You're getting a bunch of things. Now the amiibo's gonna be sold separately or whatever. But if you sold it with the amiibo for $100, people would buy it. You're getting something and you're getting something else, and it's a bundle. Whereas Mario Kart's just Mario Kart for $80, and I don't agree with it. I probably would have paid it anyways because it's the only thing you could play on the Switch 2. Pretty much, it's I mean I've played Switch 1 games on there, but that's not really a big seller for you to buy a Switch 2 because the OLED looks pretty great, which is at a low price now. I think they're down to like 260 something on some sites you can find it for. So if you don't have an OLED Switch, wait a little bit longer, they'll get cheaper. But be looking, okay? Because if they get to where they're like the DS, 3DS, Wii, all that, where it's like sub $100 for an OLED, I'm buying more, and I already have too many. So I wouldn't blame anybody else.
But yeah, we talk about what actually happened in the Donkey Kong Direct.
I mean, you're more than welcome to go into more detail if you wish. Touched base a little bit.
Very well, good sir. So previously we had seen that Donkey Kong will get a new companion. This new companion will be this little rock dude that can sing. Turns out it was all a facade. Nintendo lied. That's just from like the very beginning of the game. The rock very quickly turns into Pauline, which is I have questions. Okay. First of all, I just want to get it out of the way. Looks awesome. I really like it. I think it's great because, she can actually speak, unlike The Rock. Looks cool. The designs are great. Looks great. However, being the theorist enjoyer that I am, when does this game take place? Because if Pauline is 13 in this game, which was confirmed, and she's like, I don't know, mid to late 20s in Odyssey.
It's a prequel.
Is it though?
Was Donkey Kong in Odyssey at all?
I don't think so.
So then why couldn't it be a prequel?
Because in the mini games, not mini games, but the mini games, as in like Mario Mini games. Donkey Kong is the antagonist, where he kidnaps Pauline on numerous occasions. He does that in the original arcade game, which some say that's Cranky Kong. We're getting a little too tinfoil hat for me here. In the Mini Madness, March of the Minis, all stuff like that, the old like DS games, he kidnaps Pauline. He's very much an antagonist in those games. What happens between this Bonanza game and those mini games? Mini space games.
Maybe he goes bananas.
Maybe he goes bananas.
Yeah, maybe he goes bananas, and that's what happened. You know, won too many
I
bananas.
just think it's interesting to think about.
He's got too much bananergy. Is that what it's called? Bananergy?
Bananergy,
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe that happened, and he's trying to get her back. Maybe he's trying to beat another level, like lower down in the ground, and he needs her. And Mario's all like, no, she's in this story, and I'm the main guy. So get out of here.
I just think it's fun to think about. Obviously, it doesn't matter. The game looked cool.
Multiverse, man. That's how you explain everything these days. Multiverse. That's what it is.
You're right. You're right.
That's Earth 616 Donkey Kong. So.
So there's some other stuff that got shown as well. There are some new features for the game, some new game mechanics that all seem to be inspired by older 3D Mario games. Well, not all older ones. The main one being the transformations. This Bananagy that you can collect and turn into various animal versions of Donkey Kong.
No elephant, though.
Very obviously, no elephant.
No elephant. We made a big deal about that in Wonder. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
But so that's obviously very Odyssey inspired with the transformations, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have a skill tree, or skill points at least, which I audibly laughed when I saw that. So, yeah, you collect skill points and unlock different abilities using them.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I like that it's adding more to the game because I wish like things like Mario Kart had more in the game, whereas this gives you, you know, goals to strive towards in a game, which is supposed to be story driven, which is all about, you know, action, reward, everything like that. You go get these so that way you can unlock this. It makes you happy. The one thing I'm concerned about, because a lot of newer games do this, and I hate it. Games, you're games. Let me play you like a game. But a lot of games will lock it to where you can only get a certain amount of whichever one. You can't be overpowered. Let me be overpowered. I paid the money for the game. So if I want to unlock everything that is available to unlock, allow me to do that. Now, if you want to cap it at a certain point, like how the Pokemon games do, you can't get your Pokemon over a certain level unless you have a badge that allows you to tell them what to do. Otherwise, they're not going to listen and you're going to get fainted. And then go to that god-awful place called a Pokemon Center where they can tell you that they hope to see you again. So if they can allow it to where you can get all of them, I'm really excited about it. If they lock it to some random specific number, like you can only have so many of this or that or that or this, I hate it. I hate it. It'll make me hate the game, no matter how good I think it looks, and I think it looks great. If they do that, I'll hate it. So I hope they don't do that. Let down.
But that to me screams the sort of Mario Superstar Saga kind of upgrade system.
Yeah.
Not necessarily badges, but it's in a very similar vein, obviously. And then there's the multiplayer that got shown, which is basically directly ripped from Super Mario Galaxy, which isn't a bad thing. It seems very Galaxy-esque. You know, it's a second player that doesn't really get to do much because the game would be a bit broken if they could. I don't know, but they've designed it in such a way where player 2 doesn't really do anything.
Well, they kind of had to because they made it to where player 2 can be playing on the Switch 1, which I feel like is a pretty big deal.
So, not really, when you know how it works.
Well, but given this game
It's
is
cool that they did it,
given
sure,
this
but it's
game
not,
is
like,
a
impressive.
Switch 2 game. The fact that they allowed it to be able to do this, I feel like is a pretty like they didn't have to. They could have locked it to Switch 2, but they didn't. And that's
That
an
is fair, yeah.
interesting way for them to go with it. I'm not sure why they chose to do that because they didn't do it with their game that, you know, launched with the system. They waited a month and then released a game that could do it.
It is very clear that obviously this is the Odyssey team working on a Donkey Kong game, and I hesitate to say a better team, because obviously art is subjective, but they're a better team generally than the people who have been working on Mario Kart and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I like it. It gives a lot of like the people that made It Takes Two. I can't never think of their name. What is their name? People that made Split
I
Fiction.
forget
It
too.
Takes Two.
I
Those
know
guys.
who you're talking about.
That name. Those people. They're amazing. They do wonderful things with making video
Hazelight
games.
Studios.
Hazelight, yeah, they're great, and this is a lot of that is what I'm feeling when I saw this and saw it, and you can share the game without having the second person buy a copy or whatever, and then you can even share it to a Switch One. I was like, that feels very Game of the Year esque. Now, no guarantee it may win. Like, well, I don't know. It may not win any Game of the Year category because Mario Kart's taking over the family, and they're not gonna vote DK to win actual Game of the Year. I wouldn't think, not with Clair Obscure being a thing.
Yeah.
So it may just release and be a great game, but won't get any awards for anything, which will drive me bananas. Because it deserves more, I think. From what I've seen, I believe it deserves more. It looks it does look really good. If you haven't seen the direct for it, go check it out. It's like 15 minutes of your time, and if you are wondering if you want to buy the game, by the end of it, you'll want to buy the game. I did. It's me approved, and that should mean everything to someone, probably me. But hey, I'm someone, so I didn't lie to you.
It looks good.
Yeah.
We have another game to talk about.
Good.
Splatoon.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Splatoon thing.
Splatoon.
So, Splatoon Raiders. Seems like I honestly couldn't really tell. I skimmed through the announcement for it. It seems like a single player experience thing. I could be very wrong and off base with that, but it doesn't seem like your usual Splatoon game, which is I imagine why it's not called Splatoon 4. It might just be DLC. I don't think it is, but it seems in that sort of vein,
What if it's only
and it was
available
announced-
on the Nintendo Switch Online app? What if it's not even a game?
I don't think
It's
that's
a
the
mobile.
case.
It's Nintendo's first mobile attempt.
It would not be, but
Yeah, of the Switch 2 lifestyle. You can't correct me on that. Of the Switch 2's life, it's their first attempt at a mobile game. What now? Huh? What now? Huh? Narrow it down some more than that if you need
for
to.
the last,
That was announced on a
month, sure.
Tuesday. I don't even know what day it was announced, but something.
But it was announced on the Nintendo Today app, which begs the question: when's the direct?
What
Because
direct?
Nintendo normally does a direct in June or July. Why wouldn't they just show it there?
But do they usually release a console in June?
When did the Switch 1 release?
That's
Was
a
it summer?
great question, and I don't know the answer to it. We probably should look these things up. We should probably be more well informed.
I'm not gonna though.
Nope. We're just gonna ride with it. We're just gonna say that it's they're doing different things. Okay, they have different plans. It's not you, it's them. Okay.
But
And we'll
if
see.
they are doing a direct, when is it? Because it can't be too soon, because otherwise they would have announced the Splatoon thing there.
Well, the
But it
fact
can't be too late, because then all the stuff's coming out.
I would say the fact that they did a whole video for DK means that
Well, that's normal.
potentially we get a presentation for Mario Party Jamboree and all the new things that they're putting in it. We did get a look at that
Maybe.
at the Switch 2 Direct, but maybe they go more into detail, and maybe that's kind of like the jump start for the event that they're going to do. And that comes out at the end of next month, so it could be sometime between now and then. So
Maybe
the next week or two.
we'll have to see.
If I'm right, next week or two. Put it down. Write it in your book. If I'm wrong, never mention it again. I don't want to talk about it.
What I want to know is that when this next Direct shows up, will Silksong be there? Will there be Silksong in the Direct? Because it wasn't at the Xbox Showcase, it wasn't in the State of Play, it wasn't at Summer Games Fest. Where's the Silksong date?
Damn, where is it?
I need it!
I
don't have it. I tried to find some Silksong news for this week. There isn't any. Nothing happened.
I'm concerned because out of all the things that have talked about Silksong, like none of them have expressly, like, Xbox was the biggest deal. It was the biggest deal for the Xbox, just showing that, hey, it'll be available to play on our handheld, because they were probably taking a shot at Nintendo and being like, that's not the only place you can play it on a handheld. You can play it over here. But with that, I mean, Nintendo did mention Silksong, and by mention it, I mean, you got that little 3-second clip where it showed the name of it, and you saw the little guy running around. You saw that, and that was at their Direct. But that was it. They didn't mention it. They didn't do anything like that. Summer Games Fest, that pissed the world off of Reddit. And that's it. So, I mean, who's going to get the rights to this? Who's going to be the one that gives us the Silksong information? Because I don't know if they know this or not, but we know it. This is a game that is really wanted. People want this game. You should be flaunting this every moment you get. At any point, you should just say Silksong. Don't even talk about it. Generally, just at the beginning of the DK, they could have been like, "We'll talk about Silksong at the end." I guarantee you, retention rate would have been through the roof. And then at the end, you could have been like Silksong, and then that's it. Like, you'd have made people mad, but you're already doing that. But you could have got some marketing out of it. I could rant about this all day. It's very irritating.
I just want the game. Just give us the game.
Yeah, just please give us a Hollow Knight DLC.
Back to Nintendo, though, before either of us go off the rails too much.
Yeah.
I was wrong. A few weeks ago, before the Switch 2 launched, we had a conversation about the C button.
You wrong?
Wow. We had a conversation about the C button where you said the C button could be remappable. And I said, there's no way they're going to make the C button remappable. Well, they made the C button remappable. You can change it on a system level. You can make it do one of the other buttons. It's not remappable to the point where you can choose what it does, but you can make it copy the function of one of the other buttons. Do with that as you will.
Make it any button you want. Now, what exactly you do with it, I don't know, because I don't have a Switch 2 Pro controller, because I said I was going to wait until they made one that was a certain edition, because I don't want just a regular black controller. This is not a regular black controller. This has a C button on it. I'm currently trying to cut my console on. Oh, it didn't connect. That's interesting. It has a C button, but it's up here. It's up here at the top on the back. Don't know what you would do with that. What button are you going to program that to that's going to be helpful all the way up there out the way? And then for
do the Bethesda thing.
I will say I did play Mario Kart World with this, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the controller.
Nice.
Not the game. Game's getting old. Already. There's not enough content. For $80, there's not enough content. There's not. The only thing that makes the game so fun is that I play it with my friends. Not that the games that I'm playing. It's that I'm playing it with my friends. So, up yours, Nintendo. I don't know. Just ridiculous.
Nintendo has been upsetting some people, though. And by some people, I mean people trying to do things they're obviously not supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah, that's not me.
The MiG Switch you may have heard of. It's that Switch cartridge with an SD card slot that you can put a load of Switch ROMs that you should be dumping yourself. But let's be honest, most people aren't. And
Even if you are,
have all of
Nintendo
yours.
doesn't care.
They don't care. They've been banning Switches, not bricking.
Yes.
Everyone was saying they were going to be bricking Switches. They haven't bricked any Switches. They've banned Switches from online play. That being said, they haven't just banned the accounts. You can't just make a new account, pay for online again, and do that. It is tied to the console. Once you've been banned, you are banned. You can never play online on that console again, which, to be fair, was on the Switch One as well. That is how it's been working for a while now.
Which is fine for the modding community, because if you want to do anything, you don't necessarily have to connect the Switch to the internet to be able to mod it. So even if it's not allowed to be online after you mod it, there's no reason for you to be going online anyways. Once again, people, if you mod anything at all, that's not made to be modded because it's made by a certain company, PlayStation, Xbox, or Microsoft, I guess, because everything's an Xbox. Or Nintendo, definitely Nintendo. If you are going to mod it to not be used for its original intent, know that connecting to the internet is its original intent. So don't do that. Stop it. Stop going online with things that aren't supposed to be online, because, spoiler alert, they're going to know. And yeah, something bad's going to happen, but you're doing something bad, so something bad should happen. Quotations around all the bad. But yeah, just if you're going to mod, not saying you are, but if you are, stay offline. Stop it.
That being said, considering the only Switch 2 game out right now that is actually a Switch 2 game and not a port of something else is Mario Kart. You're not really playing that offline, are you?
Yeah, it does make me wonder though, like, what are we emulating to the Switch 2? What does the Switch 2 offer so much over the Switch 1 that would require you to want to emulate onto it instead of just your old console? What more are you getting?
People just like doing it for the sake of doing it, I think.
Well, then stop complaining for the sake of complaining. That way, I can stop complaining about you complaining for the sake of it. For everyone's sake, let's just stop. Just play Mario Kart World like Nintendo wants you to. All you've got.
Some people can't play Mario Kart World, though.
Oh, that's true.
Some people have already got stick drift.
Yeah, well, you can play Mario Kart World, just you're not going to drive in a straight line. So, the whole building a jump momentum thing, it ain't happening for you. We all knew this was coming when they announced the Switch Joy-Cons 2. And they said it wasn't going to be a Hall effect, or it wasn't going to be any improved. Now, they said from the ground up, but we know it's not from the ground up. It's from the Switch up, because they just took a Switch Joy-Con and was like, hey, let's throw magnets on this. And they were like, oh, you mean to fix the stick drift? And they were like, no, to attach it to the side of the system, because that's what we need. And they were like, but don't you want to fix the... Nah, just stick it to the side of the Switch. They are still offering the ability to. I read a thing about this. They are still offering to fix your Joy-Cons for free. There's not exactly a thing when you go to click what's wrong with your Joy-Con that specifically says drift. There are a couple of things that, like, you read between the lines, like it covers drift, but there's nothing that specifically states drift. I feel like there should be. They know what they did. That's why they're still offering free repairs. So they should just put, oops, we made a mistake. You got stick drift. And then you click that and you get another Joy-Con. That's it. That's just what they should do. They haven't done that. But, along with not learning lessons and stuff, technically you can put this on the consumer a bit, because we've also had battery problems, which is a big deal for any product, whether it be a game console, whether it be a mobile phone, whatever. If you buy it when it first comes out, and it's going to blow up, if it's going to blow up, you're going to be the one that finds out, because you bought it first. Everybody else is waiting for them to make some improvements to maybe make it safer. The Switch 2 has had problems with the battery expanding, bubbling the back of it out a little bit, giving it a little bit of curves, which is it's a terrible thing. Okay, you want to think it's not, but it is. It's terrible. But that's not all. That they've got fixes you can do because they released a console that needed a day one patch that apparently they can't do for some reason or another because the meter for the battery may or may not read correctly. When you charge it, your Switch may not charge fully. There's an option that you can change it to 90% instead of 100%. But just know that even in its own description, it says that it may not stop at 90%. So what's the point? Why would I choose an option when you tell me in the description of that option, hey, this might not work? Well, then why do I care? What are we doing? Either stop it or don't. Like it's a switch that I toggle on the Switch 2. So if anything, a switch should work. Otherwise, my Switch ain't gonna work. I don't.
The Switch had very strange power delivery protocols, which is why it had such a weird charger. The Switch 2 is taking more power, but the power delivery protocols aren't particularly any better. So if you're using third-party docks or weird chargers and stuff, it can cause issues with ballooning batteries and them not charging properly and things like that. You really ought to be using the stuff that came in the box, at least for now, until people have figured out what these protocols are and can make better ones.
Yeah. I accidentally earlier plugged up my Switch 1 power cable to the Switch 2 dock because I put the dock in front of the old dock and was like, I'll just put the HDMI cable here. When I unplugged the HDMI cable, because Nintendo knows nothing about people needing finger space to plug and unplug things. When I unplugged it, I also unplugged the power cord. So I just reached back, grabbed the power cord, didn't realize it was a Switch 1, and plugged it in. And it was like, it won't connect to your TV because of the power source. And I was like, oh, alrighty then.
Oh, okay.
So it was interesting. Switch 1 charging cable or connection cable for the dock does not work for the Switch 2. That's confirmed right here, right now. I don't know if you've heard that anywhere else, but you're hearing it again if you did. So you're welcome.
To add to that, you also shouldn't use the HDMI cable that came with the Switch 1. They're not the same.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to...
The HDMI cable that came with the Switch 2 is high. If you're wanting 4K 60
I'm
sort of
playing
stuff
Mario Kart. It's the only game we got. I don't care if it's in half a K. Like, it could be 360p. It's Mario Kart. That's...
If you're wanting to get the most out of your Switch 2 system, use the cables that came with it.
That is true. I mean, it is very true. If you bought it, use it. Because why else? It came in the box with it, unlike some other companies. It came in the box with it, so use it. Yeah.
But with all that undesirable stuff, people are still nicking them. A lot of Switches have been stolen from the back of a truck somewhere.
Yeah. There's 2,800 Switches, I believe it was. Wound up being $1.4 million worth of product, which is honestly, I believe this is my opinion here. I believe Nintendo should be able to count that towards their sales because somebody wanted them. So that's product that's missing that they can't ever recoup on. So I feel like at least half. They should get halfsies, half credit. If somebody was going to steal them, they may or may not have bought them. So if it was 2,800, add 1,400 units to their sale numbers. Hell, PlayStation keeps saying that they sold PS2s 40 years after it's relevant. So let Nintendo have this. Nobody's buying a PS2. Oh, another thing that I did see an article about. There was a Target over here in the States that was out of Switch 2s, but they had some Wii U's in stock. So they had brand new unsealed Wii U's on the shelves for $99. And I can tell you if that had been my Target, I'd have bought it. Because an unsealed... a sealed Wii U for $99? Oh, I'm absolutely buying that.
That's not bad.
Like, I don't care what you have. A Game Boy Advance unopened, I'll pay $100 for it. Like it's if it's Nintendo and it's unsealed, why do I keep saying unsealed? If it's Nintendo and it's
I don't
sealed,
know.
I'll pay $100. I don't care. Also, I'm gonna take pictures of it and show all the people that don't care.
The Wii U got more of a bad rap than it deserved. Like, it wasn't a good console, but it wasn't a bad console either. It had some stuff going for it that people seem to forget.
Yeah. In its lifetime, though, the Switch 2 is almost halfway to how many it's sold. It's only been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. They're working on getting halfway. That's wild.
Nintendo, though, have not been the angels that people never say. That no one says Nintendo are angels. But
I'm sure they are.
they've particularly not been recently.
Oh, no.
Because it turns out the voice actor for Princess Peach has been fired without her knowledge.
Yes. But there was an article about it, and they said that they were not in communication with each other. So it wasn't 100% like shade on Nintendo's part. It was also, you know, people need to stay in touch with certain things like that. If you belong to a franchise and you voice something, or if you're a character in a franchise or whatever, reaching out every now and then to touch base would be all right. That's why I message this guy every now and then, because just make sure we're still good. Like we're still gonna film. Yeah, okay. So maybe we should all just do the new Princess Peach. Should definitely take that as a lesson going forward. That be friendly with Nintendo, because you never know when they're working on something new.
So for voice acting, especially for games and games of this manner, it is not uncommon for them to just reuse lines they already have.
That's true, yeah.
Because they're recorded in high quality anyway, and voice actors, I believe for Nintendo, are paid by the day. So it's not uncommon for Nintendo to get them for the day, record loads of stuff, and then keep it for the next few games.
Well, a lot
Smash
of their games
Bros
are not
specifically.
talking.
Yeah, like the Captain Falcon voice actor for Smash Bros has recorded like twice. And how many Smash Bros games is he in?
Falco Punch.
So it's not unrealistic to think that they didn't need any new voice lines, but it turns out they did. They just didn't hire her again.
Yeah.
And didn't tell her.
Which is interesting, because she had her own game last year. Like,
yeah, you'd think that when she was recording for that they would just use that in Mario Kart World, but no. Turns out no, they've just hired someone else.
Yeah.
Which is a bit. I'm not thrilled with that.
Which, I mean,
but,
did Peach even talk that much in Showtime?
I didn't play it. Couldn't tell you.
I watched it. I own it, don't I? It's right behind me, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But you would think, Switch 2 coming out. When the Switch 2 was announced and they were like, hey, it's coming out later this year, you would have thought like maybe your agent would have been trying to get in contact or something, been like, hey, if you got any parts that you need me for, because if it's you're only getting paid for 1 day worth of recording, you kind of need that 1 day of recording, so you're gonna want to be on that. I'm not taking Nintendo's side here. Let's be clear with that. There should have been some attempt from Nintendo to reach out as well, but I'm saying that it could have gone both ways. They both should have reached out, and apparently neither one of them did. So, whoopsie, I guess, or wowie zowie, whichever one.
She's not the only person that's been screwed over by a new game, though. Edmund McMillan, who you may know from Super Meat Boy fame, and is now working on the Mugenics game I keep talking about, with cats doing it and fighting each other.
Yeah.
Had no idea that they were making Super Meat Boy 3D, and he is not involved in any way.
That's very interesting.
He is one of the original creators of Super Meat Boy. There were two creators, and I believe the other one is involved. But this guy had no idea.
Did they have a falling out? Like, is there a
maybe
story here?
I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't followed the Super Meat Boy lore too closely, but it seems he doesn't work on it anymore, and he didn't know they were making this one.
Yeah. I hope the
He
next
doesn't like the design.
I hope the next Super Meat Boy is Super Meat Boy 4K. I hope they do that.
I want 4D. I want him to come out of the screen and slap me in the face.
With his meat? You want his meat in your face?
With his meat. I want Super Meat Boy to slap me in the face with his meat.
All right.
There's your soundbite.
Print that and put that on a t-shirt.
What else do we have? Voice actors. Yeah, speaking of that, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is reported to have 500 plus rival voice lines, which is where characters talk directly to each other during the race. We saw some of it in Team Sonic Racing. Yeah. This one, however, they seem to have got multiple voice lines for every character interacting with every other character in the base game.
That's great.
It does not necessarily include DLC characters like Miku and SpongeBob. Steve, yeah, exactly. No Jack Black telling Sonic to go stick it up where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, imagine a crossover between Mario and Minecraft, because then you'd have Jack Black talking to Jack Black.
That is true. Minecraft had a Minecraft. No, Minecraft had a Nintendo.
They did.
Minecraft had a Minecraft. On the Wii U, and I believe maybe the Switch version, there was a Nintendo World you could download in Minecraft.
Yeah, there were plenty of those. Oh, you mean legit? Oh,
like an actual licensed one, yeah.
Yeah, those. Mm-hmm.
Stan doesn't care.
I don't. Crap sucks.
But yeah, they're rival lines in the same vein as like Injustice 2, if you've seen those. So that's cool. I'm on the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds hype train. I'm excited for it.
I'm interested to try it. I'm a bit of a racing gamer myself. I don't. I saw, I think Limited Run has a collector's edition.
Maybe.
I'm not getting that, but they have one. So that's interesting that they are doing a I thought they only did games that were like older. I didn't realize they did games to pre-order like when they come out. That was news to me. But I will check it out at some point, hopefully. That, or I'll let you get it and you tell me if it's worth it or not. So, tell me if it's worth adding to my collection of dust grabbers over here.
Speaking of our boy Roger Craig Smith, Sonic is going to be in Squad Busters. What is Squad Busters, you may be asking?
I am.
I don't know.
Me either.
It's a mobile game of some kind.
Don't care now.
Made by Supercell.
Lost me.
Sonic's going to be in it. I don't really care either, but
nope. Yeah, okay. Well, if there was something you wanted to care about, like maybe your bank account, Sony has given you a little bit to be happy about. Not as far as a game, but as far as a refund for a game that was just absolutely terrible. Just the worst thing since Concord. It is just, it's a mess. Have you seen any of like the gameplay and what people are complaining about?
No, actually.
It's not good, man. Imagine Cyberpunk, but the whole game just sucks. So like when they fixed Cyberpunk, the game was good. But imagine if they fixed Cyberpunk and the game still sucked, that's where this is at. Because no matter what they do, you're not going to make it better. Now, I know there's some people who are going to disagree with that statement. And you know what I've got to say? I don't care. But the game I don't even want to call it a game. The refund process is an experience that people are having. I'm not sure if they will, because there was a James Bond thing with Mind's Eye, wasn't there? Wasn't it one of the games that had? Or no.
I think so.
Was it James Bond or was it Assassin's Creed? Or not Assassin's Creed. The other.
Hitman.
Hit that guy. He's an assassin. Maybe he's got a creed. Who knows? Maybe he likes listening to Creed. I don't know. But
can you take
one of them has a thing with him, so I'm interested to see how that will go.
Yeah, interesting.
Just a waste of money at this point.
So Sony's refund policy is typically no. Once you've downloaded the game, you don't get a refund because they have a thing called the TLC, which is a technical requirements checklist, and they run this on every game before it's put on the store. This checklist has many different aspects to it. Some parts are just like, oh, the menu button has to be, you know, like the back button in menus has to be circled, blah, 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 stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of them are, the game has to function properly. There are very few games that have ever failed this checklist, very few AAA games that have ever failed this checklist, because it costs money to have Sony run it through this checklist. So typically, companies will do an internal one first before they pay to have Sony do it. The only one that's ever failed was some random AAA shooter, I forget the name of. But there have only been 2 games in history to pass this checklist and then be taken down and refunds issued. One of them being this one, the other one being Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That's how bad this is.
So see what I was saying? I was right. This guy agrees with me. We hardly ever agree. So
it's very
deal
true.
with it. Now if you're complaining in the comments down there, it's 2v1. Bring it. He'll be the one responding though. That's not, I don't do that. But he'll let you have it. Okay?
Yeah, so some people in the comments like directly address you, and I just have to like them because I know you're not going to see it or respond. But I feel bad responding. I feel like I'm misguiding people.
I mean, it is what it is, you know. That's hey, look, according to the synopsis or description, whatever you want to call it, of this whole thing, I'm the jaded old man. That means I don't care. True. So
he's a plucky sidekick.
I will wear that beanie. So,
but yeah. So there's been a lot of headlines talking about God of War is coming to Xbox. We technically already knew this, and it's not in the way that you would think. But I just wanna talk about it because I've seen multiple headlines of people saying God of War is coming to Xbox. Basically, with this new handheld that they're doing, and with the next gen Xbox, whatever that may be, it seems that it's going to have access to the Steam store. So any PlayStation game that has been uploaded to Steam will technically be coming to Xbox. So they're not wrong, but it's not getting a physical, it's not like an actual port or anything. So I just wanted to address that. So I've seen a lot of headlines.
So technically God of War is coming to Xbox. Well, that's not true. It's probably already been on Xbox because somebody's probably jailbroken an Xbox that can play PlayStation games on it. So
probably.
And everything's an Xbox. So is God of War coming to everything?
Exactly.
Can I play God of War on my Razer, whatever this is, mouse? Basilisk. That's what it is. I didn't even know what the hell it was. Clicky though. It's nice. Can I? Can I? Is my Game Boy Advance? Is that an Xbox? Is it? No. What about my other Game Boy Advance? Is that an Xbox? No, wait, no. This is an Amberneck. That's not a game. I was playing with you. But is it? See how I worked that in there?
Calm down.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
I find it interesting though that every single one of them has picked God of War.
Out of every game? Out of any possible game?
Because this also includes, like, Spider-Man, and, every PlayStation exclusive that has been put on Steam.
Spider-Man's been put on Xbox before, though. Like, God of War has never been on Xbox, so I can kind of see that. You had Spider-Man games on Xbox?
Not the Insomniac ones.
Not Marvel's Spider-Mans, but, like, you had Spider-Man games.
No one cares about Web of Shadows, man. Bugger off.
But what I'm saying is there's never been any God of War anything at all. Like you can play a Spider-Man game on the Xbox without having to do anything other than pay an outrageous price because people are rude, honestly. God of War, it ain't happening. You PlayStation, that's it. Whether it be did it start on 2 or 3? I think it was 3. 3 PSP, Vita, 4, and 5. That's it. That's all you got. All you got. And the PlayStation Portal if you have internet from the heavens, I guess. That's about it.
Big walk. There is no transition there.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I thought that meant I get up and leave. I thought that's what.
No.
I'm just gonna walk off.
I meant to talk about this a couple of weeks ago because it was in the Day of the Devs at the end of Summer Games Fest. But the article that we were following didn't include any of the Day of the Devs stuff. So I forgot to talk about it.
Fair enough. I don't think anybody faults you for that one. If you do comment, he'll respond. It'll be him you're talking to. Tell him. He's right there. Tell him to take a big walk.
Yeah, this is just this is just a cool game that I wanted to bring more attention to because everybody, including me, forgot to talk about it when it was announced. So Untitled Goose Game that you may have heard of. The devs that made
What's the name of it?
Haven't.
There are several games with geese in it. What is it called?
It's called Untitled Goose Game.
But what is its name, sir?
I'm not doing this. The devs who made that game have a new game coming out called Big Walk. It's a multiplayer experience where you play as a little scrimbly guys, and it's all like proximity voice chat based, and you have to solve puzzles, and it's like an open world, and it's really cool. There's different tools you can have to communicate in different ways. There's like flares, there's signs and binoculars and stuff. It looks really fun. It looks really cool. I love the trailer that they did because, you know, it's just their comedy. I like it. I think you should check it out if you haven't already. You can probably wishlist it on Steam, maybe.
What else is it going to be available on? Because I want you to say Switch 2. I want you to say Switch 2 because I want to be able to use the in-game chat for that proximity. That way you can hear everything that's happening in and around my house. Because that reduction filter crap that they bragged about just ain't happening.
So far, it's looking like it's just PC.
Ah, come on with the big. That's the big walk right there. Is that we don't get any physical. How am I gonna digitally take a big walk? How do I even do that? Do I just say I did it? I took a big walk. Who are you to tell me I'm wrong? It was digital. Yeah,
it looks cool. I'm sure it will come to consoles eventually.
I hope so. I am a little, you know, that's it's me being me. I am a little tired of some of the games that are really great on PC that are not available on console, and it's not a hardware restriction because that's the only
It's
excuse.
normally a publisher issue.
Yeah, I know, and that's stupid. Like hardware issue, I respect it. I forgive you because you know what? Some computers can be built a lot better than some consoles. I will say that a budget PC is not better than some of the newer consoles. So stop making games that broke guys like me can't play. Because if I want to spend $80 on your game, then, you know, allow me to play it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spend a couple of thousand upgrading my PC, but I want to pay $80 for your game. So just let me do it.
Was that a canon event for anyone else? When I was like 15, I bought Arkham Knight on Steam on my crappy old laptop, and it didn't run because I didn't check the requirements.
I mean, it didn't happen to me. My first PC is this little cheap beast over here that I've upgraded a few things on and never let me down. So $750 pre-built, but I've added things to it. So I'm not completely that guy. All right. I just started out that guy because it was a cheaper way to get into the format. Okay. was $750, and I got a 3060. All right.
I want to build my own at some point, but that will come when I have a lot more money than I currently do.
Yeah. My wife wants me to build hers, but she wants a solid white PC, and buying
Insane.
buying white parts individually is so expensive. It's ridiculous. So usually you can build a PC cheaper than you can buy a pre-built. Usually. Now like I said, 750 for mine because I got a deal. Sometimes things go on sale. Um but with white parts, no. No, you're not. Just for the graphics card, you're looking at like $600 for a good one, okay? I'm not getting like a 2050 or anything like that. Like I want to be in the 40 series, bare minimum 30 series, and on the upper end of the 30 series. So,
I still
actually,
have a 1080 Ti.
yeah, no, nope, sorry, nope, nope, can't do that. Also, motherboard has to have DDR5 because technically I already have her that bought. I already got her that. So because it was on sale, so we just went ahead and grabbed
See,
it.
there are tools to check what things are compatible with what, but I'd still be worried that I'd buy something that just doesn't work
Yeah.
with the other things.
Another thing I need to do to my PC to show that I'm becoming much more of a PC person is I got to install some extra ports because I don't have enough Type C ports on my PC. So I got to look into
Does your
that.
motherboard support that?
I got to look into that too. I got a lot to look
I
into.
have to get a new motherboard, and that's a whole wheelhouse.
I'll just run an extension cord.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'll buy a splitter. Okay, we'll do something. I'll find something in there that has power.
You could,
and I'll
but
rob
it
it.
wouldn't work as well. I have USB-A splitters going into mine.
Oh, we'll see. I could find something like that.
It doesn't work as well.
Some things are touchy with that. Some
Because
things
that's
aren't.
the thing, right? This PC has so many ports, but some of them are power only. They're not data transfer, and they're
Oh,
not labeled.
oh.
Right? It's really weird.
I will say
So
with
when I plug stuff into the back, some of them I just can't use.
mine are different. Like whether they're the 3 point whatever or the regular.
Yeah, I have some 2
But it
point and
doesn't
3 point.
it
But
doesn't tell me which ones are which. So it's just a guessing game. If I plug
there's
something in and it
normally
doesn't work, then not that
no,
one.
it does. But we because I've looked at it before. There's like a little. You were talking about it. There's a little symbol next to some of them.
Yeah, but that symbol doesn't
They're
even
the 3 point ones.
it doesn't matter for all of them because for some of them it won't work. Like there will be two ports directly next to each other with that symbol there, and one of them will do what you're wanting it to, the other one won't.
Are you trying to do it at the same time?
Well, how would I do it at the same time if I would see it works in one and it doesn't work in the other?
That's what I'm asking. Are you trying to plug two of your many cameras in at the same
No,
time?
I'm
'Cause
not.
that
I'm
wouldn't
I'm
work.
not plugging into it. Nice plug there with my name. I'm not plugging multiple things up at the same time. I'm plugging one thing in, it's not working, so then I'm moving it over and it's working there. But they're both labeled and they have the little
Oh, yeah, fair
arrow
enough.
to both of them. And it's like, what are you on about?
I don't know then.
No. We got into a PC debate. This is interesting. That's the news this week, everybody. 'Cause there's not much of
That
it,
is
really.
it, yeah. Well, we had a huge couple of weeks, so now we're back to
did,
the.
Back to the just.
I not normal because we normally have a bit more to talk about than this, but
Yeah. But I mean, the last 2 weeks were huge. There's so much gaming news that like all you can do is repeat what has been said the last 2 weeks because nobody's announcing anything right now, or they would have done it 2 weeks ago. So,
mate, that last episode that none of you watched, that took me 8 hours to edit. Just so we're all aware.
well, not only that, it
Just
took
so we're
us
clear.
2 hours to film it. So that's 10 hours
Yeah.
of work.
Unbelievable.
My goodness. Anyways, this one we were capping right at an hour, so you know it's a lot less work. Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe. The bell, I think, still does stuff. And we'll see you across the pond next time. Bye bye.